The Supreme Court is weighing the future of independent government agencies and the power that is shared between the president and Congress. This comes as people question whether President Trump had the power to fire the FTC commissioner.
Joining us now, our Chief Analyst Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, we reported earlier that the conservative justices seem like they may lean towards President Trump on this. Khalif, how do you see it breaking down?
Seem like they may lean. I mean, I listened to oral arguments yesterday. It isn't it seem like it's, I mean, you can write it on the wall. You could take it to the bank. Any other analogy you want to make, it's good as done. I mean, the questions, judges tip their hat to the way they're leaning based on the questions that they ask. I mean, and Justice Alito, for sure, he made no doubt about it where he stood. I mean, he supported and stood behind the Solicitor General's statements, and even when the hypothetical was asked to him by Justice Sotomayor, Alito came right behind him and kind of defended the Solicitor General and gave him an opportunity to clarify what he was saying. So I think that the writing was on the wall for this a long time ago in terms of what this rendition of the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas has said that a number of these agencies are not what they were before, and a lot of the past rulings need to be readdressed, and that's why they're open and willing to listen to these cases. Chief Justice Roberts said the same thing yesterday, that the independent agencies that this case addressed 90 plus years ago, well, they just don't look the same, and because they don't look the same, this ruling is old, dusty, and archaic, and they're ready to remove it. But problematic at best, confusing and concerning at worst.
So you got that 90-year precedent, right? The Humphreys versus the U.S. If they change this, if the courts rule in Trump's favor, how does this change future political power, regardless of what party
it
they're
changes everything. I mean, this is going to be a having lasting generational impact on how we operate as a government. And you got to think about what the case said at the time. That Humphreys case was Roosevelt attempting to remove and dismantle what, like President Trump is doing, without cause. And the court said, well, the president doesn't have the ability to do that because Congress created these positions. And so they argued at the time, Roosevelt's team did, that these are executive branch, decisions. The court came back and said they're quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial. And because they're not solely executive, you don't have the authority to remove them. And because Congress has limited your authority to remove them, that doubles down on our separation of these co-equal branches of government. And so they reaffirmed in that court the power of the three branches. This court is again attempting to remove power away from the legislative, attempting to remove power away from the from the legislative, and now shifting it to the executive. So to your question, the next president, if there's not a Republican, I would be nervous because anything that's happening now can be removed by one person. That's going to be a problem.
And this, we should mention, this case is similar to one that the justices are going to hear in January with the president trying to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. So if you're a lawyer and you're seeing what the court rules on this, what are you thinking for January?
Separate, distinct, and clearly the justices have their eyes on the market. I mean, they may be looking at their portfolios, but within this discussion, Kavanaugh said, we're not talking about the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. We're talking about every other independent agency except for the Federal Reserve, i.e. Jerome Powell, you're safe. You don't have to worry about us removing you. Why? Because if they even had that conversation yesterday, if they would have discussed it, and if this ruling comes out that they could say, yes, the chair could be removed, the market would tank instantly. If the president could remove the chair of the Federal Reserve because they don't like that they didn't give him, any type of move on interest rates or any type of bumps, there would be a problem and the market would fluctuate, second to second. That's not something that they want to have happen, and you can see it's been contemplated. And so they were clear to make sure in oral arguments that we're not talking about them. Mm-hmm. We're talking about everybody else except for them.
Real quick, Khalif, is there a chance that SCOTUS kicks us back to Congress and says, we don't like Humphreys, it's changed so much, make the rule different?
No, I think that they're saying that because Humphreys was a Supreme Court ruling then, right. They're saying that court got it wrong, that Congress is exceeding their power, that the president does have this authority, and they don't want to send it back to Congress because Congress gave the power. They're right. Saying Congress exceeded their power. And I mean, they are within their right to do it. I just would say that 40 years from now, 8 years from now, the president on day one can wipe out all these independent agencies and put whoever he wants in place. It wasn't set up to be like that. So that's going to be a major problem.
Again, our Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes weighing in on that for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.